This video that I'm about to show involves a time that I spent up in LaPorte, California. There was a time in 2019 and 2020 that Shane and I had to take a reprieve from researching out at the 400. Shane's work called him out to Colorado for an extended period of time, about a year or so. So there was a summer that I was looking for a place to go, and I'd always wanted to see how close I could get, or at least look at the area of the High Sierras in California, west of, I think, Reno, or yeah, somewhere like that. So I scoped out a place, and had a friend from out there in Nevada join me. And so he's not on the video for very much. He actually spent a lot of time away from the campsite, so I spent a whole lot of time there alone. But I'll show you the location. It was, I think, about 30 to 50 miles north of where the Sierra Sounds were captured in the late 60s and early 70s with Ron Moorhead. So that's the location. And so I'm assuming that the mountain range there is very similar to the location of the Sierra Sounds. So that's why I was there, just checking things out. I like to travel. I love experiencing new places. And so this is basically me walking around with a GoPro, checking out things, trying to do a little bit of research, listening with audio and things like that. We did find a print that, well, the guy I was with found a print that it was a bear print. But he was trying hard to convince me it was a Bigfoot print, but it was a bear print. We were far enough out that did not have access to going in somewhere. It was that far out. So the moment I ran out of ice, I had an issue with two items. One was the creamer for my coffee, which everybody knows I'm a coffee fanatic when it comes to Bigfooting. And I cream it up really good. So I had to have a way to keep my creamer cool. So when you see the hammock that I'm in at the campsite, straight down below that hammock was a creek, was a spring-fed creek, and that water was ice cold. So what I did was I would go down, and I had my creamer tied to a string, and I dropped it in the pool of the ice cold water at the spring-fed creek. So every day I'd get my coffee, I'd just walk down there, pull that creamer up out of that cold water and pour it into my cup and toss it back in. So that was my ice chest for my creamer. But I also was planning on staying there for about a month. I only stayed there for a short while, but I was intending on staying there for about a month. So I had my insulin and stuff that needed to stay somewhat cool. So I ended up digging a hole right by that hammock in the side of the mountain there, and I dug about a 3-foot deep hole. And when I put my hand in there, it was nice and cool, like a cellar, very cool. And so I had a big old rock that I covered the hole in. Well, that was where I kept all my insulin. So it's kind of funny, incidental. I wish I'd have took more videos. I didn't know that I would ever post this for people to see, or I would have done a better job. You know how that goes. I should have posted videos. I should have made videos of all the different things that I had done there, and I should have downloaded the audio that I talk about on there that you'd be able to hear. But I didn't. But this is going to be just a video showing my trip out there. So it's kind of like a self-made documentary, I suppose, possibly, but it's interesting. So check it out. Thank you. All right, so there is LaPorte up there in the center of this map. You can see that lake down there to the left is Lake Oroville. So it gives you a good indication of where things are located in the High Sierras there. And we will draw a little bit closer on the map so you can see the terrain, well, as much as you can. LaPorte, from that point, goes straight down into that valley, crosses a little one-lane bridge. I will draw a yellow line showing all the way to the campsite. But at the bottom of that ravine is a one-lane bridge that caused me a lot of issues pulling my trailer. I actually tore off a fender. So here's a little closer view. You can see that little S curve down there that had the little bridge, but it was a good long haul. We were probably maybe 5 miles south of the town. So yeah, when you see the campsite, you'll understand how deep, across that ridge we were. But I actually had to cut some of the trail to be able to get the vehicles in there. So it was interesting. And here's some nice pools, and you can see what the terrain was like. Little alpine lakes, all these clear crystal springs. And all right, here's our campsite, sitting in this little cubby hole. Got me a solar charger, charging the battery. Keep my battery charged. I use it for, charging cell phones, running the thermal camera. I can sleep in the trailer or the tent. I like sleeping in the tent because I can run the thermal camera out the top. See, there's the thermal camera, and I can see what's going on outside. Back here is where I set up the shower station. Got our little generator for running our microwave and our coffee maker. This is where I hide my parabolic mics and recorders in PVC pipes with the real bark glued to them. And they'll lay on the ground with the parabolic mics recording out of one end. So we can place these in areas that we want to, ascertain what kind of activity is going on there. So I'm going to go ahead and just assemble 2 of these for what we're going to do tonight. I got to test them to make sure that they are recording or picking up sound. Testing. Very good. These can record for 12 hours, and I mean they can pick up everything. They can pick up footsteps, vocalizations, anything. And you plug this into your microphone, and you feed this down into the pipe with the parabolic turned on. And it's good to go. Just lay it on the ground. It looks like a log just laying there, but it's recording. So, you know, and I might, you know, throw some other debris around it just to, you know, look a little more natural. But I've got three. You know, one I'll use here in camp. I like to listen on a headset while I'm in my tent at night. So I'll set one here at camp always, because I like to listen. And two of these we'll set out in remote locations, pick them back up tomorrow, and check on them. I have to run them down into a laptop. I have to download it into a laptop, and then look at all of the sounds on a spectrogram across that 12 hours and pick out the spikes and listen to them and see what we're listening to. We are leaving camp. I'm going to go up and set up 2 parabolic recorders. Like dusk down there and sunshiny up here.
I gotta take a picture of that.
thought you were telling me that there were going to be 2 places up top.
Oh yeah, there is.
I mean, it's just an idea of the place, but it is kind of cool. Okay, put one of the parabolics right here. I'm going to walk about 30 or 40 minutes down by a creek, put one of our log recorders, parabolic recorders up. So I'm going to go ahead and go on down there and put it out and then just come back. My phone here, been charging. Okay. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to arm it. Take my little homemade sling off of it. Easier said than done. I should have done a better job than this. Pull out the parabolic and the recorder. Hit record. I've got it recording on high. You know, there's a low frequency or a high or medium. I have it on high, which means it can only record for 12 hours. That seems to work pretty good for the applications that I use it for, because I usually put it out the night before and then pick it up the next morning, so 12 hours. So now it's probably about 6 o'clock or a little after 6:15. So in the morning, it'll quit recording at about 6:15. So I turn the parabolic mic on about halfway. That seems to pick up a lot of things going on in the woods at night. Feed it back down in there. And I believe we've got a creek down here somewhere, so I'm going to point it in that direction. I mean, it'll pick up sound 360 degrees all the way around, but I will point it down that way. Just maybe we'll get something going along the creek. There it is. And there's the parabolic. Very stealthy. Regular pine cone, Pacific Northwest pine cone. My God, it's like Jurassic Park out here. Okay, this is about a mile from our base camp, and for 2 nights in a row I've been setting out a recorder here. There's a tree stump just drops down over the edge here that I've been setting a recorder at night, and we've been hearing some knocks, and a bear actually walked really close to the microphone last night. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a tent up here and leave a light on inside the tent. I'm going to set 3 game cams up around it and leave a recorder on that stump again. I've had some success down in the Kiamichis of Oklahoma, where I do a lot of my research, and with different variations. One variation is I leave a recorder inside the tent playing sounds of my 2 grandsons playing, and when it goes off, there's been times when we've had activity. I've had something run by the tent, sounds like it was on 2 legs, almost like it possibly could have been maybe a juvenile Bigfoot that was interested in what was going on there. And then when the audio shut off, it waited and then ran by. Maybe, I don't know, on a dare, who knows. As we were going down the trail, you probably saw that where there were lots of limbs and brush that has been cut. I've spent the last 2 days cutting those things in order to make my trip down here a little bit easier. The first trip down here was rough, trying to scrape through some of those areas. And the first night that I put out a recorder down here, I just hiked it down here, and I decided that it was worth cutting all those branches to get this down here rather than walking it down here and then walking to retrieve it. So these cameras I'm just going to set out on ground level. Yep, there's a good spot. You can see the camera right there facing this side of the tent. And I think I will put one over there on that log. And again, this camera right here is going to be watching this side of the tent. So now I've got to find a spot for the third one. And it probably should be over here. I mean, that looks like a nice little opening right there against that tree on the ground facing this side of the tent. So yeah, that's what I'll do. All right, so this camera here will be facing this side of the tent. So I've got the tent covered on 3 sides, and I've got a small LED light. Don't know how long it will last, but it's been charging in the sun all day, so I'm hoping I can get a few hours out of it. But I'm going to leave that inside the tent on low setting so that it looks like just a little bit of light illuminating out of the tent. That way something from a distance might see the light and then come this way. We can only hope. So, which seems to be, works out pretty good. I can pick up a lot of stuff with this thing, especially using the parabolic. So what we'll do is we'll check the time. And it's 7:15. So it'll probably be getting dark here in another, I don't know, 45 minutes maybe. So I'm actually going to shut this off and I'm just going to sit here for a while until it gets darker. Okay, it's about 8:15, and I'm going to go ahead and put the light in the tent, and Here's the recorder. I'm going to set it up.
right there.
Well, it actually only looks about the size of a bear. I thought you said it was way big. There's a heel,
Yep.
and that's a triangle like a barefoot.
Yep. It's a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, that only looks like about 10 inches. I mean, that's not much bigger than what a bear would leave. So I just don't know. The soil is just not conducive to any more details than the bare minimum. All right. Till tomorrow. All right, so there you have it. That was all that I had. I discovered it in a file that I was just going through to retrieve old pictures, and I saw that I had some videos from other things that I had done. So I also have some other older videos that I'm going to post that are from 2008, going through the Chickasaw Park by myself after dark. Things that I didn't even know that I had access to that I had saved. So I'm kind of excited about that. But that's how I came across these videos. Forgot I even had them, but I saw them and I was like, wow, that would make it interesting where people can get an idea of the lay of the land out there in the high Sierras. All right, thank you.